Hello, everyone. Welcome to John and Dylan Online. I am Dylan Gott. This is a show where two comedians do half-assed research into internet history. Joining me is the vivacious, the man with a hat on because he's scared of his hairline. Ladies and gentlemen, John Hastings will introduce the subject of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Duke of Digital, the guy who always uses his phone while driving.
Uh,
That's right. It's John
that's obviously
JPEG
that's a
Hastings.
pretty sick nickname is the Duke of Digital, JPEG Hastings. JPEG
That's right.
Hastings makes it seem like you are a pedophile, but I like that. Sure.
It does not sound. It's
Hard
not.
drive Hastings.
Oh, there's a hard drive Hastings, and goodness, quite a lock on that computer room Dylan got. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be talking about MySpace's queen and also neo-Nazis queen, Tila.
Pivot. She
Yep.
pivoted
Okay, Dylan claims that was a pivot for audience.
before business pivot.
It's a business.
Before here's all right. Tila Tequila.
I like to
Is
call,
she
if you go
go
if
for
you
it?
go Nazi on the internet, that's not a business pivot. That's an internet pivot. You've
The business
pivoted to the
pivot.
next phase of internet. That's what it is. We've
She
moved.
basically came up with the idea for OnlyFans, but only applied it to herself, and then she
Correct.
pivoted to being a Nazi. So Tila Tequila, right
But
now, what she's doing is what will be popular in 5 years. She is the visionary of the worst parts.
I
Not
completely agree.
OnlyFans, not a bad
I
part.
completely agree with Dylan God. Dylan God is
Yeah.
hit it on the head. She's now no
Mm-hmm.
longer Tila Tequila. She is Tornado TN. She
Tila
has
Jobs.
she has the kind of person that has the look of her eye. Her internet, her like webcam is dirty in that way. All people who are having a mental breakdown
Mm-hmm. A constant
have
one.
like online where it's always just a bit dirty. The lighting isn't like, oh, there's just one bright light right behind them going in the camera. Like, you know what I mean? And they always are like, I was just talking to Jesus, but it's a weird place to talk to Jesus. I was just talking to Jesus in a chat room. And you're like, oh, no, 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 tornado. Time to turn it down, tornado.
I feel like all social media negatively benefits or positively benefits the extremely unmedicated because every
Correct.
social media thing is like, oh yeah, just use this as much as you can. Post 8 times a day, and regular people like 8 times a day. What do I post about? Tila Tequila's like, each Cheerio is a Jew.
Yeah. Whoa,
Each
whoa,
and every
whoa.
Cheerio is a lizard Jew, and when I
Excuse
eat them, that's when I become God. I have sucked God. He is me now.
You're telling me if I post 11 times on this that I have sucked God off, and God, when he was being sucked
Mm.
off by me, he was like, here's a couple of things you need to know. Hitler, yeah, everybody else, no. And she's like, that's a good idea. I'll post about that 1,100 times. Yeah. No, Tila Tequila. Also, you know that it's there's some stages of the internet that are very often not discussed, and I would like to discuss a few of them now. One of the late stage ones that I think are very important, the name change. No one talks about when, oh, you get famous enough on the internet. Guess what's happening? You're changing your name. Now you're Tornado TN, Snoop Lion, whatever Mark Hoppus changed his name to briefly when he really believed in aliens before he was like, what's that? I need money. Time to be back with Blink 182. Don't believe in aliens anymore. There are no more
That's
angels
Tom
in the
DeLong that
airway.
did that. Tom DeLong found aliens, which is the
Pardon
most
me.
internet thing that could possibly happen is, hey, who had first contact? This guy who was in a punk band and only sang about having a hard dick.
Yeah. I want you to know this about Tom DeLong. That guy made Joe Rogan go, that guy talks about aliens too much. And when Joe Rogan's like, you're up there, bro, then you're like, well, all right, time to cool it off. Time to fucking chill.
I don't know about that. I think Joe Rogan was more like, hey, I'm the guy that talks a lot about aliens. If you start talking about how steroids are actually so dope, I'm going to have to fucking beat the shit out of you. Stop taking my stuff.
See, I disagree. I read Joe Rogan always as, yo, this guy also gets it. That means we're brothers.
I was only in a room with Joe Rogan once, and the energy I would say he gave off was angry. He was angry. He was just, I don't know. He's one of those guys where I'm like, oh, you're that guy. Every group of comedians has a guy who's like, oh, this guy isn't funny at all, but has just figured out how to be good at on stage. That's the energy he gave. Not maybe he's super fun to hang out with. I don't know. Please, if you ever hear this, put me on your show. I'll say whatever you want. I have a kid. I don't care if Nazi
Oh
money
yeah,
feeds him.
Dylan's made it very clear when he goes on the Joe
I'll
Rogan.
do whatever, man.
He's like, yo, right before we turn on these microphones, what thing do you agree with that no one else agrees with you on? Because
Here's my impression of me on Joe Rogan. You be Joe Rogan.
all right. Swords. Uh, I'm smart, but in a way that's not smart. I like to eat numbers.
I never thought about it like that, Joe. Tell me more.
Oh my god, that actually would do very well on that program.
Honestly, Joe, you're way taller than people say you are.
Oh my god, that is gonna nail it. I gotta say this, and this is something that Dylan God has said many times, which I agree with him completely. Which was stand-up comedy would be such a better place if people's neurological and mental disorders were diagnosed. And I also agree that comedy would be a great, better place that if you were under 5'9" in comedy, which is where short people begin, is 5'8". 5'8" is I got a chip on my shoulder. You are immediately put into therapy for 2 years before you go into stand-up comedy. And stand-up comedy is such a better place.
Well, I do feel like the problem
The
with
amount of times I've gotten this fucking guy thinks he's better than me energy from a 5'8" guy at a comedy show where you're just like, fuck you. You get clothes. You can buy medium, the greatest fucking type of fucking clothes fit to have. There's always mediums available. You fuck. Fuck you. Fuck your mother.
this is the problem though, is if you are 5'8" and under, then people will just openly, it's like the last thing that people are mean about is short men.
If you're 5'8", you're not short. Fuck you.
Hey buddy, I don't care what height you are.
I do
You're
care.
okay with
I
me.
do care.
Oh,
if you're,
you do
if you're
care,
under 5'6", I'm better than you. Get a fucking step stool.
John is a 6'4" white guy, which is the greatest thing because you can just walk around and people are like, he probably he runs
let me,
something.
let me say this right now. The amount of times in a situation people are like, you got this handled, right? And be like, unfortunately, you are incorrect on who runs this building.
I'm gonna act like I do because I might need money sometime.
Yeah, I'm gonna act like I'm the son of the person that owns this building, and someone else will take care of it, and yet people will still thank me.
Tila Tequila. She
Let's
had a
talk
bad childhood.
Oh my God. Tila Tequila basically just grew up in abject poverty in Houston, Texas. Let me say this about Texas. It's a piece of shit state because if
No,
you
originally, where is she from?
she's from Singapore going against
She's
the
from Vietnam.
Oh, is she from Vietnam? I thought she was
She's
originally
from
from
Vietnam.
Singapore.
They fled Vietnam on a boat.
Fled Vietnam on a boat to Singapore.
Yes, and then she went from Singapore to the United States.
Woo.
She said she could hear the roaches in the walls. Which the other thing is like, Tila Tequila is a liar, so maybe that's not true.
I will say she's claimed she heard the roaches in the walls. She's also claimed that every night they'd turn off the lights and 100 roaches would crawl all over her and be in the room. She's also claimed in other places that they lived in one room or it was a 1-bedroom apartment. Here's what I'm going to say. It doesn't sound like it was a very good childhood. And I also would say that Tila Tequila clearly has problems with confabulation and other mental, like Tila Tequila had a tough childhood. Tila Tequila also has some mental problems. Tila Tequila combines mental problems with tough childhood. Childhood gets a whole hell of a lot worse faster. You know what I'm saying?
And you get some anti-Semitism in there where it's like,
Oh,
hey, why
yes,
don't you
of
take these
course,
pills? Well, the Jews make those pills. Bam. Now you're fucking. Now you got a nice recipe for some fucking crazy soup. Let's go.
Oh my God. Stop saying let's go. We're taking let's go out of the fucking lexicon.
Okay.
I fucking hate it. No one can explain to me.
Begin.
Yeah, there. I like that. I like that. That's much better.
Begin.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So Tila is she's a pretty lady, and it is the late 90s, early 2000s. And there was a thing that happened in the late 90s and early 2000s, which was the internet, to get naked ladies to show their hoo-haws on it, they needed to send people out into the world to get them. So Tila is approached by a Playboy Scout.
Playboy Scout would be the greatest.
Oh my God.
Can you? All right. What do you think?
When you read about this guy,
what Playboy Scout?
Okay, I want you to say how this guy says hello. Okay, and I'll give you how I think this guy says hello. Go ahead.
Hey.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Here's what I'm picturing here. Yeah.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, both guy very appropriate. So imagine this. You are a tiny, scared lady. You hear roaches in all of the walls, and then a man with a ponytail, and either, depending on which guy we're talking about, either all black but different textures, leather and corduroy, or we're talking a lot of beiges and a lot of loose fitting clothes, long blonde ponytail for hey, you know what I'm saying?
What year is this again?
What year does she meet the Playboy people? I feel like it's very into high school. Like it's high school.
Yeah, this is
2001,
like
19.
this
She's at
is like
19. She's at the Sharpstown Mall,
19
which
the
is
year
formerly the
2000.
Sharpstown Center. It's now the Plasmaricas, actually, in Greater Sharpstown, Houston,
Ooh,
Texas.
2001. So
Yeah, so it's
19.
9/11. 9/11 hit.
Oh,
That
sick.
Playboy, as the towers hit the ground, Hugh Hefner turned to a Playboy scout and went, "It's finally time to let a non-white person into Playboy." And then they all threw up for some time, and then they went out and found Tila Tequila. And then I assume Hugh Hefner showed her his dong.
Oh, yeah, and then Hugh Hefner kept her in a cage for a year to train her.
Yeah, exactly. It drinks its piss. What Hugh? I mean, you drink your piss. Sorry, you.
Yes, now that you're in the cage, Tila, let me tell you what I think about the Jews.
I like them actually. I don't have any. It's weird for someone that keeps a lot of women in cages. You think I'd be racist? I'm actually very accepting. Two other races, not two other genders. Women are bad.
Yeah.
I'm Hugh Hefner. The only person that when shit started coming out about me after I died, the entire world were like, yeah, no shit. The nudie magazine guy in pajamas? Yeah, no fucking shit. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're not surprised. This guy fucking sucks. The guy who smoked a pipe well into the 80s? Yeah, he blows. The thing that's important about masculinity is to make sure that you have a bunch of women that work for you.
All I remember about Hugh Hefner is this is in retrospect, is they did some. Remember when Hugh Hefner had like 4 girlfriends and then they did a
Of
weekend
course.
update thing and Tina Fey was making fun of the 4 girlfriends as you would do back in that day because they had sex and that's fucking bad and
Bad.
they're whores. And then she was like, "Look how dead behind the eyes they all are." And then in retrospect, you're like, "Oh yeah, because they were living in hell." And then on SNL, they were like, "Look at these fucking dumb bitches." Good for them.
Yeah. Loser, loser, loser,
Ew,
loser.
ew, ew, ew.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in movies. That's what she said.
Yeah.
4 for the ew girls, 1 for me. Anyway,
Hi, I'm Tina Fey, and my eyes say to everyone that I'm an incredibly talented person, but I don't seem like I would be fun once the camera turns off. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of the criticisms would be very barbed and personal. That scene would have been better if you had been a bit nicer to your mom, but you weren't because you're a terrible son. Oh, wow. That's a bit specific, Tina.
check this fucking shit out.
Go ahead, Dylan. I'll check it out.
So this is something. This is a Tila Tequila was the first Asian cyber girl of the month for Playboy. So did you know that?
I did. So that happened on April 22nd, 2002. Um, and a few more pictorials followed after in the magazine. By the age of 20, she acted on her rock music interest. So this is also the time that in LA, basically everyone is packaged. It's beginning of the what are quote unquote called the overall deals. So it's the idea that everyone's looking for someone that like can be in nudie magazines and in a band. Basically, they're just like Pussycat Girls be talented in more than one thing. Pussycat Girls be talented in more than one thing. Pussycat
Oh
Girl be
yeah.
talented in more than one thing.
Well, this is also they figure out that you don't have to. Well, they haven't fully figured it out yet, but they start to figure out like, oh yeah, we can just like put hot people on TV, and then people will watch that. We don't really have to have shows, and like cable becomes huge.
Huge. Like this is really the transitional time where MTV officially stops making any sort of video and really starts just making fucking weird ass reality shows. They talk about how Jersey Shore was the low point. I actually do think A Shot at Love is. She starts building up her audience on Friendster. This is very important. She's already appearing on VH1 reality shows like Surviving Nugent, where contestants have to perform compromising
Yeah,
tasks for rock star Ted Nugent.
this
Imagine
is this
being
is
someone from
fucking sick.
Vietnam around Ted Nugent in 9/11.
Yeah, yeah, it's not. But I mean, also
Well, I think that
they
the
probably
thing
got
that's
along.
important to remember about Tila Tequila is I'm going to hunt her like she's a moose.
This looks like a bunch of live game. I'm gonna hunt her and kill her and eat her. Next up on Surviving Nugent, I'm gonna take out all of the Asians in this town.
This is the interesting thing about me, Tia. Like it's me, Tia Nugent. Is actually I wrote a song called "Wang Dang Sweet Poo Tang" that was about a girl who was 14 and also Asian. That's sort of the thing I like. Actually, I like that, and I like hunting, and I like not talking to my wife. Hey, Ted, did you just admit to being a pedophile? Yeah, I did. I'm Ted Nugent. I'm deaf. I put my pedophilia in song, and now every day I just go, "Don't remember that. Don't remember that. Please don't remember that." The people that come to my concerts now are right wing Christians. If they remember that I was like, this song's called It's Cool when they're still in elementary school. I'm in trouble. Ted's in trouble. Cat scratch fever. I'm going to get that in jail.
Which song was that?
Wang dang sweet poon dang.
No, no, not that song, but like he was like, she's 12, that's good.
The song Wang Dang Sweet Poontang was supposedly written about a Hawaiian lady whose parents signed her over to him so they could cross state lines.
Yes, supposedly, but where is it? Is it actually proven, John? Or is it just a bunch of fucking horse
It
shit
is
again?
VH1 behind the music where they're like, "Did you do this?" And he's like, "I did." And then
VH1 is hilarious where it's like that was basically turn of the century, that was the MTV but for older people, for middle-aged people, and then they came up with an idea for a TV show that was worse than anything MTV had ever. Actually no. So
no,
Tila
behind the music
Tequila,
fucking rocked. Behind the music was basically
behind the
just
music was good.
was just every band. That's where and also the thing was it was before people remembered television was forever. So you'd still get like they would make it so it always seemed like it was the end of the band's career, but sometimes they still very much hated each other, and it is good stuff. Like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young's. Like, do you guys still like each other? And it ends with like, yeah, I guess it's fucking weird to say that we do like each other though, because I don't. You're like, oh, okay, guess you don't like each other.
Tila Tequila,
Go
much
ahead.
like Dane Cook, two people that really fucking
Miss the
used
2000s.
MySpace just to fucking jut off. Also, she got booted out. All right, sorry. Tila Tequila, basically, she's showing her yabos all over the place. She's getting kicked off of Friendster for showing her yabos, and she joins MySpace, which is very yabo friendly.
Now let me
And
ask you a question, Dylan. How does
yes,
she find MySpace? This is the interesting thing.
I don't know.
Tom from MySpace emails her, saw that she got kicked off of Friendster, and realizes this is an opportunity to gain a bunch of users, and basically is like, you know those yabos? They are now MySpace yabos. This is a space for your yabos.
Yeah, they credit her with basically making turning it from a platform for just your friends, which was the original intent of social media, for to ruining social media as we know it. Post Tila Tequila, you get just craziness.
Well, I wouldn't blame Tequila for this. I would say what it is they created a thing
It's
where
gonna
it's like,
happen
hey,
anyway.
connect your friends, and then Tila's like, or we connect everyone, and they were like, yeah, that wasn't already our plan. That was our plan, baby. Tila then, of course, becomes a showbiz sensation because she is gathering an audience in a way that they didn't know was possible. So if you can do that in show business, everyone's like, we didn't realize that that people on computers also want to see boobies. Now that we know this, we can market them the boobies. Fill one of the boobies with Pepsi. This boobie gives you Pepsi. Then of course, this being the 2000s, it is such a fucking cultural fucking chasm. So she appears on such shows as Fuse TV's Pants Off Dance Off. Do you remember this show? I don't remember this
I
at
don't.
all. It's where contestants strip to music. I feel like it is illegal.
Oh, well, this is a lot of the stuff you watch. Like, I assume you did not watch any episodes of A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila, John?
Disagree. I watched a few episodes of A Shot of Love with Tila
Oh,
Tequila.
wow. So it's like a lot of the stuff there. And she's perfect for this time where it's like cable television is going nuts, where it's like, okay, we can't have a show that's written, but we just need a show where it's like we stuck a bunch of people who are with undiagnosed mental illness. There was this
Mm-hmm.
sweet spot for reality television from like the year 2000 till about 2015, where it was like we weren't really watching people for mental illness, and like so you could just straight up exploit them. Like I remember Last Comic Standing came to Toronto, and there was a
Oh my God.
comedian here who has cerebral palsy, and they basically were like, yeah, you should just come back and do your act in a chicken suit. and then we'll put you on TV. And he didn't. But like that's the kind of stuff that they were pitching. They were like, yeah, this guy's got a physical disability. Make him wear a dumb hat. Anyway, is it possible that Ant could push him over?
Yeah. Hi, the comedian Ant is here. Is it possible for us to light someone who's blind on fire?
Yeah.
Does Ant specifically want to do that? Well, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's
Oh,
pretty
Ant
clear.
doesn't care how people. He just wants to be watched.
Yeah, he just wants people to catch him being naughty. The other
So
thing to remember is that Tila has algorithmically broken the music industry, which is with MySpace. If you log on to anyone's profile, if you have music on that MySpace profile at this time, it automatically played, making it a play. So she had the most people going to her site. So she had the most people listening to her music. So she became one of the most popular independent music forces the world has ever seen, leading to Will.i.am signing her to his music label, the Will.i.am Music Group. Very clever name.
that's terrifying. That's terrifying.
Isn't that fucking nuts?
I
Under
love the Black Eyed Peas because like people say sell out, and the Black Eyed Peas fucking sold out,
sold
man. But
out.
good
Oh
for
my
them.
god.
They were like, we want to make money fucking now. Let's go.
Well, that's the thing is because the Black Eyed Peas were the most indie hipster cool like
Yeah.
they're dressed like furniture and like these really intense beats in the 90s, and then it's like we are hungry and we will be selling out. How are you going to be doing that in every way possible? Begin.
I just turned 30. Don't I am worried about my finances. Get someone in here to sing these hooks.
Yeah, let's
Fucking
get it started in here. You
let's
understand?
let's get it started.
And by it I mean financial futures.
Let's get it
So
started, by the way.
the other thing to know about television right now is this is the sweet spot for reality TV, because what they can do is they can take the innovation of the internet in terms of finding a new sewer of culture and then put that on TV, as opposed to now where the internet has its own TV, which is Reels and TikTok. So everything just goes on to that. So there's no jumping into the mainstream. There is no mainstream. It's all just TikTok. But A Shot at Love is an extension of essentially it's like, on the internet, you can see two girls kiss. Well, on MTV, you might see that too.
Yes. And there's a thing I listened to where it was like, oh, this is the first representation of bisexual people on television. And
And this,
it is not it is not flattering. It's the girls that are going after Tila Tequila all fit one stereotype, which is the other girls that are on TV in 2006. Just fucking
yeah, exactly.
everybody's 100 pounds and fucking they got
Yeah.
100 pounds with a fake Jagos in there. Good
Yeah.
for them.
This woman says that she is a lesbian if that means she's still dating Brad. She's got
Oh yeah,
short
buddy.
blonde hair. You know what that means? She moved from 2 school districts over and she's bad news.
The show is I paused it on this third episode of A Shot of Love, and it's a dude in a white shirt with a backwards hat, and his shirt has a arrow pointing towards his dick, and the shirt says "Free Pony Rides." That's the whole. That's his fucking dick, guy. That's sick. If you want to know what like legit douchebags were like, and you're not in your 30s and you weren't around in fucking 2007, A Shot of Love with Tila Tequila. Like it's a very good time capsule because you're like, oh, this is what assholes were like back then.
Yeah, it was a real specific asshole time because you have to remember. So, like, the world was filled with fear, but because of America deregulating the way that you could package mortgages, the banking industry became the largest industry in America. So there was so much money everywhere, but also like a bunch of illegal wars and a sense of irreality and fear. And so people literally were putting lights underneath their cars, and their hair was so greasy it was wet in appearance. And so many just open shirts with like a t-shirt underneath for a college like Booze College, and you bought it from Abercrombie and Finch, and you suck.
Tila Tequila, baby, I fucking love it. She
Yeah.
obviously being bisexual, she gets shot at, not shot at, jeez, but like a bunch of Christians complain about her because she's warping people's views. Also later on she just admits that she's not at all bisexual. She just
She had a boyfriend throughout the entire thing, including
that's sick.
second season, her shot at love declined her. Christy Morgan declined her in the season finale of being her love shot or whatever the fuck they called it.
Dating for a bit. And that's the best thing about this is like she very much can't do like 3 seasons of hey, I'm still dating. So they
Yeah.
keep a shot at love, but they dump Tila Tequila, and that really she's still around. This is the thing. You would say if it's a story, that's where it gets fucking weird, but it doesn't really start getting weird until like a couple years later because it's like
Well,
this woman has tasted fame. She's tasted the sweet fruit of fame. She wants to fucking stay famous no matter how it fucking happens. And she writes a book. She writes a self-help book called Hooking Up with Tila Tequila, a guide to love, fame, happiness, success, and being the life of the party. Much like, oh fuck, I watched a documentary on this guy. Do you know Krill?
no, who's Krill? I
So
hate him already.
Krill, well, yeah, you should. Krill is like a dude who got famous. He was like throw parties at clubs, and he got famous for throwing the craziest parties. And his all his social media is just like chicks doing body shots and him getting hammered. And then there's this, short documentary where he's like, "I need to stop this. My body hurts."
Oh, is
And
he in the Netflix social media influencer documentary? He's one of those guys.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I think I know who you're talking about. Continue.
So she's kind of caught in this because like all her first album's called Sex in 2007. Also, MySpace falls off, so it's like Facebook becomes the main social media site, and Twitter really caters to people who can write, which I can't
It
write.
does,
That's why I was never good at Twitter. And Facebook kind of caters to people just friends. So
but
and then YouTube becomes a big power as well. But she's in this gap where it's like it sounds
you're
weird, but it's like if
you missed
MySpace
something.
had stopped
You
and
missed
TikTok
something.
and
You fucking
Instagram,
missed something.
yeah, well, I'm talking though. So
You're missing a
wait,
point. You're
wait
missing a
till
point.
Daddy's done.
I'm not waiting till Daddy's done because you're missing this point, which is she has the same level of celebrities have now from the internet. It's just that mainstream MySpace was not a mainstream thing. Facebook and Twitter were not part of the conversation yet. There was nowhere for her to go because in the end, she was just this way for people to market to online eyes. So as soon as MySpace stops being a thing, her value is done because now she's just this
Well, I'm just
lady.
saying that like TikTok hadn't started. If
But
if it went from
I disagree.
Tila Tequila and then TikTok was a thing, then she could just immediately have taken over, or like she would have just stayed.
No, I disagree entirely. It doesn't matter what the social media of the time was. It's our whole culture had to shift to keep her alive because no one reported on online people the way we did now. The whole thing with Tila Tequila was it was literally like she was on the internet and now she has a TV show. That's fucking nuts. And where is she now? She no longer has that TV show. Other people can do that now because we've adjusted how we get our cultural figures. But at this time, if you were from the internet, it was sort of that thing of like you were a flash in the pan and gone. I don't think that anything could have saved her career. You know what I'm saying?
I still think that, dude, the idea of someone that was on top, even if they weren't actually on top, and then they fall off a pedestal and then they start picking fights with other people, like that is evergreen. That is all like we're kind of trying to do a podcast that like recaps some part of history, and that's a lot of podcasts. But like there's like a lot of podcasts that are just, hey, I'm going to start a fight with another podcast.
Oh, the drama podcast world, do not think that I am not a heavy listener. The fallout of Dave Landau leaving Louder with Crowder and now going on a lot of podcasts that do not seem to have studios just to complain about it. I've listened to all of those episodes and they are juicier than the shots served at the Love House during Tila Tequila's A Shot at Love. I hear everything you're saying, but I still think if you need to recognize my point, you motherless fuck, piece of shit, fuck you, is that Tila Tequila's fame in the 2000s, no matter how big she would have gotten, no matter what other places, platforms she could have jumped to, she was always a online celebrity. You know what I mean? Like, which doesn't exist anymore. Everyone is every type of celebrity. You know what I'm saying? But then she was still like, she's the online bisexual girl, and now she's gone. It was a different cultural time. America now has that thing that Britain has, where like once you get a certain level of famous, you could literally kill a kid on television, and they're like, can't believe that weather reporter killed that kid on television. Well, I guess he'll incorporate that into the weather report tomorrow. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying though. Like the tight. That's what I was saying. If she would have just went from MySpace, it would have been way easier for her to monetize how famous she was. Like people don't really fall off like that anymore because you have this many followers on TikTok or this many followers. Like social media is like way more stable now.
That is true.
The
The other thing I would say,
Twitter, Instagram, like even Instagram, the idea of Instagram like kind of morphing from hey, let's take pictures of food to now we're just TikTok also is like is crazy. Like MySpace was around for like and I would say around, but like popular for 4 years.
yeah, like, and I missed MySpace completely. Like, it was just not like I joined I got a MySpace account in 2008, and it literally was like too late, bro, too
Yeah, you
late.
showed up at the party when everyone was cleaning up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I started comedy being on MySpace and people were like, "Oh, here's a code. You have to copy and paste this code and then you have the word comedian on your MySpace profile."
I remember that. I remember being told by someone who's still very into social media that he's like, if you don't have a MySpace, comedy clubs aren't even going to book you anymore. I remember with MySpace, someone said that, and I was like, I think you're a lying person.
You are off by 16 years.
Yeah, you were off by 10 years, and also told me the same thing also then, and yet still very
People will
crazy
book
stuff.
you because you'll keep their secrets.
I do keep their secrets. Now, the year is 2010. Dylan, I find 2010 to be a big watershed year in terms of online internet culture, mainly because that is the year that Tila Tequila goes to the Gathering of the Juggalos. She is promoting her new
That's
album.
this is the real
Okay,
downfall.
because
Let's talk about this after the break because we do not have Zoom Premium.
we do not have Zoom Premium. We will talk about this after the break. After the break, who was correct in this? Dylan, who thinks that she had the ability to monetize her online drama, then she would still be famous, or me, John, the man who was right? We will find out after the break who is right. Me, John, who is right, or Dylan, who is wrong, but
The
thinks he's
man
right.
who fears his baldness or the man who bathes in it every day?
Dylan does bathe in his baldness every day, which is another way of saying he gets into a bath, no water, naked, and just covers himself with dry soap and goes, "Ooh, I'm splashing like a ducky."
No hair, no hair.
No
That's what
hair.
I say.
He shaves himself. Now, Dylan, the year is 2010. A little woman named Tila Tequila has ventured to the woods of Illinois
Mm.
to learn something that you and I have known for some time, which is you do not fuck with. There are types of nerds that are acceptable in society: comic book nerds, music nerds, sort of wrestling nerds. Let me tell you what type of nerds are not accepted. Insane Clown Posse nerds, known as the Juggalos. One of them has clown makeup tattooed on his face and was made fun of by one of the Insane Clown Posse on Tom Segura's podcast, and one of the most hard to watch things ever, because all I can think about is this man is going to see this and he's going to feel very bad about what his face looks like now.
Uh, did you know this?
I did not.
They basically kept on telling Tila Tequila, our fans are gonna fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Don't do this. And they paid her before she went on, and she still did it. And people were going nuts, throwing shit at her. And then because this is also like the whole like, oh, this is just incels with makeup on,
Yeah.
and they are throwing literally it graduates to the point of they're throwing human shit at this woman. They're throwing beer bottles, then human shit.
Doesn't it go rocks, beer bottles, human shit, which is such a
Sorry, you start with rocks. The rocks
You have to
thing is
start-
fine, which
you
John
start with
was
rocks.
saying. Yeah, everyone agrees it's fine to throw rocks at someone who's 4'11".
Okay, as long as we're not getting into a debate about something that we've all agreed upon, which is if you see someone under the height of 5 feet, you can throw rocks at them in a
Yeah.
if you're in a rural
Children
situation.
included.
Now, Dylan, you're just to be not to be a real European about this, but we of course mean in a rural situation. You can't do that in the city like an
No,
asshole.
too
No, no,
many
in the
people
woods.
around.
Yeah, this is wilderness rules.
If there's nobody, if there's no police, there's no rules. Throw the rocks.
Correct. That's why I have that tattoo. It's big and it's on my back. And there's a big piece of Dylan going like this. Yo.
Exactly. Throw the rocks. So they throw rocks, then they throw beer
Oh.
bottles, then human shit.
Now, could we quickly discuss? And I love this about the Insane Cloud Posse, which is this is not the first nor the last time in life they've been the voice of reason. And I just love, and I have been in these situations where someone that can knows a crowd and just goes, I'm making a call here. We're not doing this. Well, why? Because I know how this is going to work. And they're going to throw rocks at you, then bottles, then human shit. What? That's a very specific order. Yeah, I'm good at my job. I know exactly what's going to happen. You're not going out there because, as Dylan Gott has put perfectly, this is a crowd of incels in the woods wearing masks that they think that they can hide their face. We're not giving them a pretty lady because then they're like, well, that's the thing we came here to kill.
Well, what the thing that starts making them go nuts is that she takes her tits out.
Yeah, she's alive. Yeah, she's a woman that's alive. That's what makes them go nuts.
No, she's like, I know how to get them back, and she just shows them her boobs, and then they're like, that makes us angrier for some reason.
I mean,
Put
it is
those baby feeders away. I want to see music, you bitch.
Yeah. I didn't come here for cheap sex. I came here to go whoop-de-woo while a song with a weird haunted house beat plays. Do that or be killed.
Which sucks because the Gathering of the Juggalos seems like such a fun event. There's helicopter rides. It's literally a circus.
There's helicopter rides. You can
There's
also
wrestling.
One of the times there's also ATV races, but I don't think that those were sanctioned. I think just a bunch of people took ATVs through the woods.
That's great. Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, it's just like, it's amazing. It is a white trash festival, and goddamn it, other than hurling stuff at a woman, I'm on board with all of it.
Correct. Also, during this time, a sex tape is leaked against her consent. A sex tape is leaked against her consent. It's unclear if this is one of or one of many sex tapes. There's been intimations and various lawsuits and apparently there's just like Tila Tequila just had a lot of sex on videotape, which fill your boots, gal. And then it was released against her wishes, which does not contribute obviously to her mental state. The fallout from the Gathering of the Juggalos is pretty intense. She blamed the Insane Clown Posse. The Insane Clown Posse kind of came back and were like, yeah, it's fucked up what happened, bro, but we told you not to do that. Like, we specifically said, do not go out there. They had witnesses to that. It's a real fucked up situation. I believe Tom Green, just to close this off, is the person that covered her in a blanket and got her off stage, which is just wild because Tom Green
closing a loop. That is like, I'm the Tila Tequila of the late 90s, and I am now taking away Tila Tequila.
Yeah, that would be like if Conor McGregor saved Jake Paul from getting beaten up in a bar.
But she's also like really lucky, just to kind of return the thing we were arguing about before, because here's why she's really lucky is she's such an early adopter that she can do things like just be, hey, I'm on MySpace and I'm showing my yabs.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, but it broke her brain because in her mind she was like, I know how to get out of like every situation. She just thinks you whap out the gals, you get out of it. You know what I mean? Like I guarantee she's been like, you were not approved for this loan. Or am I? Excuse me, Miss Tornado Tien, please put away your yabos.
Yes, Tornado Tien.
That's her name.
This is another thing we can break on this. Her actual real last name isn't Tequila.
What? I thought that Tornado Tien was the fake name and Tila Tequila was her birth name.
Oh, you thought Tila Tequila was her Catholic name. Well, it's not.
Oh my God. I keep remembering working catering in 2011. And this was one of the sketchiest catering crews I've ever worked on. There was a 35-year-old woman. She was like, let me tell you what I did in high school. I smoked a lot of cocaine in high school, not crack, not a fucking asshole. I smoked cocaine. And I remember one of the other guys who was a line cook doing a cooking demonstration. He was just sort of like, kept talking about a lady had sex with recently, and he was like, she had that Tila Tequila face, trashy but hot. And I was like, well, okay. And it was the first time I'd heard Tila Tequila in about 4 years at the time.
Yeah, I mean, a line cook saying something weird about a woman, I could never believe that. So I
What I
believe
was
that's a
more
made up
crazy is
story.
it was so crazy how narrowly specific it was being weird about a woman, as opposed to most line cooks where it's a broad descriptor. I want to fuck their throats. Oh yeah, that's good, Mike. Hey John, do you know what crack smells like? I do not, but I'm pretty sure I'll just assume whatever smell comes out of the next room you walk out of is crack, Mike. That's probably smart.
Yeah, the what was it gonna the line cooks are great. I remember watching a dude do stand up, and then afterwards he was a line cook, and I was like, oh, I know. Your whole act was just sex moves. Like, you ever do the tired donkey? That's when you're having sex with her, and then you hit her with a car, and then
Oh
she's
my
dead,
god.
and then you're a donkey too, I guess.
That was the years 2007 to 2010 are just me stood near a fryer. Well, someone's like, you ever given a girl the pirate? It's where you fucking kill her family and then you maybe buy her a steak dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the one-eyed pirate, or what was it? The fucking it's where you come in her eye and kick her in her knee. I've never seen a woman alone. They're not. It's universal that women aren't allowed to be alone with me.
Same line cook Mike, when I was working at this restaurant, said one of those style jokes in front of the head chef Garfield, and Garfield took out a big knife and he went, I've got 2 daughters and a wife. You ever do that to a woman? I'm gonna find your dick. And he took the big knife and he made a sawing action. And he went, and I'm gonna saw through it. And then a really pretty lady came in and he went, look how tall that bitch is. It was so many different emotions all in once. It was just
Garfield.
Garfield. That guy made the greatest pulled pork sandwich I've ever tasted in my entire life. Just made it for the people who worked in the kitchen. No one else in the restaurant one day. And the manager of the restaurant then yelled at him and he went, Johnny, if you think you know how to cook, you can talk to me that way. But until you can, I think you should leave. And he was like, are you kicking me out of the kitchen where I'm your boss? And he was like, no, just one of us know how to cook 12 chicken breasts. I'm that guy. I miss that guy so much. That guy came to a show once and he was like, did you steal the ladies in there? They were going, and he just danced by himself. And then he walked down a fire escape into an alley and left the show. He came with his wife. I don't know where he went.
That's a man right there.
Now, let me tell you what else was happening in the year 2010, Dylan.
So basically, the Juggalos attack her, and she thinks Juggalo is a nickname for
The Jewish people, because
yes.
it's now
Immediately
time.
afterwards, she's like, "Well, fuck the Jews. They're
Yeah.
with their goddamn face paint, and they say they're homies, but they're not.
Imagine
They
thinking
hate Santa."
Juggalos were Jews. Just imagine how weird your life is. We got to do something. They're covered in mud, and they listen to the Insane Clown Posse. Are we? What are you fucking talking about, Miss Tequila?
She's given the people what they want, though. That's
Well,
what you want. You want a person who has they come to fame because they're attractive. They try and be a musician. That doesn't work out. Then they try reality show. That has a couple years. And then major public breakdown, which is showing your jugs to the juggalos. And
oh
then
boy.
just fucking, I'm a Nazi now. I love Hitler. Blog posts that are like, the Jews should get over the Holocaust. That was the major one. Get over it.
There was also the article she posted, Why I Sympathize with Hitler, Part 1. Okay.
Part one.
Part 1, yeah. Well, it's going to take a while for you to understand why I sympathize with Hitler. That's not something I should have said into a microphone that way. Oh, geez.
Well, yeah, and then this is my another favorite thing is this is also pre, or maybe it's not pre, but like at least Big Brother has her on, like Celebrity.
No, that's
Big Brother has
2015.
her
So
on.
that's post this. So the timeline's very
That's what I'm
interesting.
saying. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Dylan. I misunderstood. But the timeline of it's very interesting, which is this. She has the Gathering of the Juggalo situation and then is slowly ramping up to finally December of 2013, Why I Sympathize with Hitler being posted on her Facebook post page, and all of that gets taken down and she's kicked off the platform. What I think you've exactly hit on it in one, which is she's cycling the drain of fame. And because she was so early on the internet, she's so much further down the internet shit pipe than anyone has ever gone before. So she finds the last great vestige of internet communities. People, she's like, I need support. There's only one group to do. Break glass if you would like to be covered in shit. Better side with the neo-Nazi internet community. And that's what she does, because she is a, if anything, she is a clown in search of a crowd, and she has found that crowd. Unfortunately, at this point, that crowd is a reprehensible bunch of human pieces of shit, and she joins them willingly, because in the end, all Tila wants is attention.
Yeah. I mean, all she wants is attention. Also, all right, so here's some people she apparently hooked up with. Oh, there's a one Sean Merriman, who she accused of like being abusive. He was a linebacker for the San Diego Chargers, who then she sued him. That suit didn't go through. $2 million suit he sued her for went through. He won that, which is that's crazy.
Can I also say what a time that this is not discussed in the NFL, the 2000s and the early 2010s, and like the NFL now, all of the discussions are like, I think these owners need to do better things. How Colin Kaepernick was treated was terrible. Back in the 2000s, literally like another running back for the New York Giants shot off a handgun in a nightclub. And also 8 members of a defensive line are all dating television celebrities, and they've all been found asleep in various bordellos around Nevada. They'll still be playing tomorrow. Like this was the time for the NFL, baby. Woo! Didn't one of the Baltimore Ravens full kill a guy in this period? Ray?
No, he saw a murder and told the cops nothing. Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, that's right. Wearing a white suit, later wearing not a white suit. Ask no questions. Fuck you.
Yeah, saw a murder, helped with the murder. Nothing happened. Yeah. Well, this is also prime time for the NFL, where it's like, hey, I think you guys got a problem with the concussions. Oh, what? Because everyone's crying without actually crying and killing their wives? You got a problem with being a pussy.
Yeah, that's right. The news has a problem with reporting lies. Are you saying that these people didn't murder their families because their headaches won't go away? No, I'm saying you just keep it out of the newspapers.
Oh, geez. Okay, so concussions are bad now. Shut up.
Yeah.
Just because a note he left says preserve my brain because I've been living in hell, and then he killed his wife. Oh.
Yeah.
Where I think that's bad.
I don't take fucking orders from people that are dead. If you want me to do something, stay alive. That's how that works.
You have to be like a man, not in a note that probably is a lie.
Yeah. Also, what kind of man writes a note? I think that his wife wrote that in his handwriting.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I say it to my wife all the time. Last night, my wife cheated on me with my body. I cheated on her, though, according to her. That doesn't make any sense. It was her. She didn't do it, so it's her fault.
Yeah.
You cheated on me with my body, with my mistress.
So she had a return to music. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about fucking Celebrity Big Brother, baby. This is my favorite. They kick her off Celebrity Big Brother. Do you know who didn't technically get... Oh, I guess the 2 people I know that got kicked off of Celebrity Big Brother are her and Andrew Tate.
No, it's even better? Around the same time. I think possibly the same year, Andrew Tate and Tila Tequila are on Big Brother and Celebrity Big Brother, respectively. Let me tell you who is bad at their jobs. The researchers for British reality TV, because both of these people, so easy to figure this out. What's your name, Andrew Tate? Let me put that into the internet. All right. I don't recognize this word. R-A-P-E. Someone misspelled the word rap, I guess. Not going to just ignore that. All right, let's type in Tila Tequila here to Google. All right, quickly. N-A-Z-I. Sounds like some sort of, maybe like some sort of Mexican food, like possibly one of their desserts. Not a problem at all. All right. Both of them can appear on the show. Not a big deal at all. And so basically what happened was she is on Celebrity Big Brother for one day. And
one day she comes in, she's like, Hitler's the best. And they're like, well, that's a weird hello, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this has been substantiated or not. There are some claims that while she was on Big Brother, like when the cameras weren't rolling, like the little light goes off, and she's like, now that they're not watching, and by they, I of course mean the Jews. And they're like, speaking of someone else, and also, so they took her into the diary room, apparently showed her some of the posts, and she quickly left. And their statement was like, don't pry into why she's not here. Could you guys do that? And everyone's like, oh, we'll be prying. And they were like, that would be unfair to us.
Yeah, and also she's basically doing like she tried to come back to like the subscription model she had around the Friendster and MySpace days, where it's like a lot of the reason she gets famous in the first place is, we didn't touch on this, is because she's not only doing it is like OnlyFans. Like not only is she like um having sexy pictures of her online behind a paywall, she's also like directly interacting with the people who are on her site. So it's not just like pictures of her. She will directly interact with people. And
This is such a
she
great
tries to
point.
restart that again,
Yes.
but since she started saying very anti-Semitic things, I think this is based on nothing. Is she's like, oh, if these Nazis like me, which is something a sociopath would do. She's like, if these Nazis like me, then I'll just do Nazi stuff. And then she takes like a sexy photo in a Nazi outfit next to a badly green screened concentration camp behind her.
I
That was
think
a
that you
photo on the internet, and Big Brother was like, yeah, she's crazy. She'll be great on the show.
I think you're 100% correct. That's exactly what it is that, and you can see the same um content creators are radicalized the same way that content, like the same way that an audience is radicalized, in the same way that like Jordan Peterson started talking about language and is now talking about how maybe we all should be evangelical Christian, is that the message gets moved as also like less online, less extreme people shave off. Also, the person providing the content gets more intense and more fucked and more basted in the stew of the internet. So eventually they are going, it's impossible to know where the chicken and the egg began, which was, did she start sympathizing with Hitler to gain an audience, or did her audience solely push her in the way where she's suddenly like, you know who, I sympathize with Hitler? Either way, it doesn't matter. You need to get those views out of your head and change your life if you start leaning that way, because it's indicative of bigger things. But it's an amazing sort of radicalization you see. And I think your point is completely and totally accurate, that it really comes from the fact that it's also her audience pushing her in a direction and her pushing the audience. By the time we get to 2016, she is tweeting at Ben Shapiro. Like literally, she wrote, should I say what she wrote? I'm going to write it. Ben Shapiro should be gassed and sent back to Israel. The only two things in this world for which I gladly sacrifice my life for are the destructions of Jews and the preservation of the white race. You know what will help Asians earn respect? An Asian version of Adolf Hitler. I want that person to be me. I want to save the world from this Zionist disease. I hate Tila Tequila so fucking much, and it is so nuts that that is less than a year before she appeared, less than a year after she appeared on Big Brother. They were like, and it's, man, that's a real leap too, which is like, you cannot talk about Hitler while you're in the Big Brother house. And she was like, well, I'm going to shout out the walls so loud, they're going to hear me on the next season.
Well, it's like that is the real fucking, that's like where she really pushes over the edges. The being kicked off Celebrity Big Brother, she's like, I can't even be on like reality shows anymore. And then she goes fucking, she changes the name to Tornado TN. But I mean, I tried to look up. So I listened to another podcast about her, and it said that she has like 1.2 million followers on Facebook, which I can't find that. I can only find like new profiles. Now they might have canceled
I
her
think
old
she got
profiles.
canceled. So what sort of happened? What happened in the wake of the post sort of Trump being elected? She appeared at the National Policy Institute party celebrating
This is in
the
2016.
pardon me,
This
in
is in
2016.
2016. There's also like her showing her like she has vlogs where she shows herself getting welfare, and she's fucked.
Yeah, she's fucked. She's
She
profoundly
needs
fucked. I
meds, but she
believe that,
won't get through the meds.
and
And she'd
she
be an
won't go through.
unmedicated anti-Semite.
Yeah, she's now very much just doing weird, like the classic end stage. I was a celebrity, now I'm fucked. The like in a bathrobe, holding the phone in a dirty hallway. Let me tell you, oh, and but also acknowledging the chat, like in the middle of a meltdown, but still knows to acknowledge the chat. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the end of my fucking. Oh, well, nice to see you, Gooby Shoes. I've got to fucking do something about this. Fucking. Oh, thanks for the sub, Rosie
She's on,
Piss.
well, she is on her YouTube as Wife of Christ, where she's like literally making 10 vlogs a day. And she was on Gab. She got kicked off of Twitter. But you know what happened? What happened recently, John?
I have no idea. Did she get kicked off of Gab?
Elon bought Twitter. Tila's back, bitch.
Tila's back.
Tila's back on Twitter, motherfucker. That's what Elon bought Twitter for. Get Tila back.
Get Tila back. Has she lost her account yet? Because my favorite part was how fast some of them lost their account. Like some of those were like the crazy people that got brought up. I can't remember. Someone got brought back and was like canceled. Like literally was like, I got my Twitter account. And then like the third tweet was like cunt, and J, and then account suspended. And you're like, what the fuck?
This is great. This is where it is. At Tila's hotspot, Tila Tequila. She's verified. She paid for the fucking blue tick, baby.
She paid for the blue tick? Of course she did. That's the biggest sign of mental illness I've ever seen in my life.
She has a fucking link on her Twitter that is just a link to what? Telegram.
She has a link to her Telegram on her Twitter?
Yeah.
That's boss. That's fucking boss, bro.
Which I assume is like, hey, I used to sell like sexy pictures of me. Now I'm just selling fucking straight up kid porn, I guess.
I want you to know, how would you feel? Okay, you're in a coma. The year is 2006. You fall into a coma during the first episode of Shot of Love.
Mm-hmm.
You come out of the coma today. Your first question is, what's Tila Tequila up to? And someone's like, oh, she's like a full Nazi now. Here's your reaction to be like, yeah, I can see that.
That's my first question. I haven't seen my family in fucking 17 years, and I'm like, what's Tila Tequila up to?
My first question, if you're watching a reality show and then you don't know where it goes from there, and you're just like, I gotta fucking figure this out. You know what I mean? It's just been on my brain.
Well, we know people who have been in comas. When you get out of a coma, you just think you just went to bed. So other people tell you that you were in a coma. So that would mean that every day I wake up and say, what's Tila Tequila up to? First thing I open my eyes.
Yeah. Is that not what you do?
Tequila up to?
Yeah, I asked a cat right before this episode. I woke up, there was a cat in my bed, and I went, hello, cat. What's Tila Tequila up to? And the cat went, which I took as...
You wake up, you see your girlfriend's eyes. She smiles at you, and you say, what's Tila Tequila up to?
I smile first. I
smile first before she smiles? No, you got to wait it out. I don't smile until she smiles. That's the alpha move.
Of course, I alpha move it and let her smile first, of course.
Sorry, Sigma.
I'm no Sigma. I'm no Beta. I'm no Kappa.
Oh, is that going to be the new one? They keep changing it.
Yeah. I'm a Delta.
Oh, I'm a Hilton.
Dylan fucking got.
Everyone there can actually, you know what? If you listen to that, that's mine. You can't fucking use it.
Yeah, that is Dylan's.
That exact exchange happens, and you get to say the name of a hotel. You have to say like Holiday Inn or whatever.
Yeah, or you have to credit that's a Dylan got. Dylan got. You have to say that after Dylan's joke if you use it. You got to go, I'm a Delta. Dylan got.
I feel like now that we're making shitty hotel puns, the episode has reached its end. John, do you have any final thoughts on Tila Tequila?
I think Tila Tequila is very much a personification of what the internet's journey has been from 2006 to now, which is in 2006. It was a place for people to try and build an audience through the most basic means of marketing and human connection. And now in 2023, it's a place where people are in tattered bathrobes and they're either very much with Hitler or very much not with Hitler.
I'm glad that it didn't work. Like the fact that she was like a huge Trump supporter and shit, and she's on Gab and like every like fringe crazy person form of social media is good, and I like that she's not successful there either. Like I looked up her Gab profile, and then she basically started it and stopped using it pretty immediately because she's like, oh, no one cares about me here either. It's not, she doesn't have, it's like she doesn't have anything. She's just bipolar, but still wants the same things as she did before that really like kicked in. It seems.
Can I say something about Tila? Tila Tequila is, again, it's so nakedly ambitious. At the root of it,
yeah.
You peel everything back. It's just, I want to be famous. And it's so rare you see it so obviously, and like it's like a shining diamond at the middle of her spirit that just says, pay attention to me. And it's heartbreaking, but at the same time there's like a part of it so human where you're like, Yeah, I know how you got into this situation. You were exposed to the wrong parts of show business too early, so you literally just think everything is transactional because a guy went, hey, like you just fucking the world is diarrhea.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Uh,
Let me ask you this question though.
okay.
Which is your favorite Tila tequila? Gathering of the Juggalos Tila tequila?
Oh, you mean era? I thought you were gonna say Tila Tequila and then like song or anything.
No,
No, a
no.
shot at love is good just because it's classic. Like she's a bisexual, but they only have one type of person on there. Like if it's a dude, it's a douche, and if it's a girl, it's like an FHM style model. And then later on, she's like, "Oh, I don't like girls. I was
Yeah,
just
no,
doing that
also
so people would pay
hang on.
attention to me." And you're like, "Okay, well that also does a lot of damage because every time someone says that about any bisexual and then you're like, "No, I actually Oh, you know that negative thing people think about bisexuals? I am that." High five?
Yeah. Yeah. Bisexuals are just greedy fucks who are just doing stuff for money, which is what I did. The other thing is the other type of woman on Shot for Love, they looked like they were in Fallout Boy, but also an FHM model. That was the other thing that was very important. And it's again, it was, I don't know, Tequila continues to fascinate me because it's so of that era. And there's no cultural icons from the 2000s. Like no one, Tila Tequila will never appeal on an old timey special of Where Are They Now. Tila Tequila's memoriam page will be like when MTV finally just becomes a TikTok account, which it's on its way to becoming. It will literally just be like, whatever happened to Tila Tequila? We're not gonna. Well, there's not even gonna tell you to Google it. Like it's very
Oh no,
sad.
the entire like if you just want to know what happened to Tila Tequila in 20 minutes with just information, then that's
YouTube,
all YouTube and anything is. Like
YouTube,
there's so many people who are doing what happened to that
of course.
celebrity on YouTube better and for free than any television show ever did it because since they don't want any money from it, they can just use copyrighted images.
Very true. Also, what's so funny about Tila Tequila is it only seems modern that her celebrity ended with her believing in Hitler because we just didn't used to ask old celebrities, what do you believe in? Like the Tila Tequila is actually a very old school Hollywood story in that when she was a teenager, a creepy guy with long hair was like, I'm gonna pay you to see them jugs. And that's what they did with Tila Tequila, and it just ended with her believing in Nazism. Just when that happened in the 20s with a starlet who was signed to the studio contract, they didn't have MySpace for it to happen. Their just brains would be broken and they'd just be smoking cigarettes in a bungalow in West Hollywood talking about how Hitler was great.
All right. That is our Tila Tequila episode. John, this one isn't on the list that we have of topics, but I would like to do it because you mentioned it in a previous episode that I forget which it is, but I would like to talk about it. Could we talk about next week pets.com and
We
not that
can talk about
explicit
pets.com.
like the website, just that it's like crypto but 20 years before crypto where every website's valuation was $16 billion and then just who cashed out and who did.
So it is the tech. We will be talking about pets.com slash the tech bubble boom next week.
That's a good way because I would have put slash when things were thought we a lot of money but then no a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the I went to a literal college for comedy explanation of the .com era. I
Yeah.
have a website and I would like 60 bazillion dollary doolies,
Yes.
please.
Pets.com is that's a good fucking
It's a great one.
website.
I'm really excited to do it. Also, as someone who lives in Los Angeles, I can tell you, I think I know where the pets.com building used to be because it very famously, pets.com built a headquarters and then tanked. And so that headquarters was there forever.
We're recording these well ahead of time, and I'm very excited for a follow up our pets.com episode with our crypto.com episode because they have a whole arena, and I hope they paid for that in bulk because they might have to change the name of the crypto.com arena in like 6 months.
Oh, I'm gonna give it 3. Do you understand? Like, you understand that now even the guy that cost the FTX to be exposed, they're now like, it's any minute where like that guy is also operating a different Ponzi scheme. Like it is, someone literally said, Yeah, no, not all of crypto is a scam. Some of it is a Ponzi scheme. And I was like, that guy's right.
Do you know what I fucking when COVID started, my first two things were I saw a bunch of people like wearing sweatpants in the daytime. This is pretty cool. And then my first two thoughts were everyone's about to be extremely depressed because as we know, like by doing stand-ups, it's like I just get up and put on jeans just because I'm like,
Yeah, you have to.
well, if I do nothing, I'm still in jeans. And the
Yep.
second thing is, I should probably look up how to start scamming people because this is going to be prime time for scams. And it was. And you know what? I didn't. And I regret it every day, John.
I completely agree. I remember being told in the middle of COVID that crypto was the future by a bunch of people that I was like, you have just read an article and are bored. And I was 100% correct. One of those people has later admitted, and then I got really bored at home and thought I had figured out finance, but just lost 5 grand in crypto.
That's so many people. There was a guy I worked with during the pandemic when I had a day job who like went up a bunch. And I was like, you got to fucking
Sell.
like get rid of it all now. And then he was like, no, I went in for nothing. So like whatever. And then I just was like, this is real money and
Yeah.
you're going to have a family. You're just you're gonna I don't know. I hate being the guy who's like, you're
And
gonna
by the
regret
way,
this because whatever, it was $20. He
yeah,
literally put $20 in and then it went up to like 20 grand and then back down to nothing, which is like at the
yeah.
end you lost $20.
After this, I'm going to tell Dylan because there's someone that Dylan knows that did make money in crypto, and I'm going to tell him once we turn off the mics because it's the best.
Oh, I know who. Oh, there's a bunch of people I know that did just for like, oh fuck, I'm out. Which and to those people, congratulations.
Oh, this one
I
is the
might cut
best
that part out, edit that part out. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Join
one.
us online at the Dylan Gott. Oh wait, at Dylan Gott at the John Hastings everywhere. Bye bye.
Bye bye.